Okay, so let me just, yep, I'm seeing me talk, so that's good. Let me share screen. Share screen. Okay, virtual learners, if you are watching this video, this is the take 2. The first video was like my voice kind of broke up every other word. So we're going to try this one and see if this is better. Okay, so bell ringer, what did you guys get for the answer of the first one? Good, this one's perpendicular. What'd y'all get as your slopes? Wait, say that again. Was that me? No. 1/4 and what? -4. So those are perpendicular. Yes, 1/4 and -1/4. I mean, what? Okay, 1/4 and -4 are your two slopes. Did anybody not get those and need help with that? You got it? Okay, number 2, what'd you get? Should be parallel. I believe they're both 1. You should have gotten 1s for that one. And then what about the third one? It is perpendicular. One of them has 0 on the bottom. Isn't it like 4/0? Okay. And then the other one is 0/-11. So this one, if the 0 is on the bottom, it's undefined. If 0 is on the top, it's 0. So what you're looking at is a horizontal line and a vertical line, and those types of lines are perpendicular. Okay? All right, while I pass out today's worksheet, I'm going to put up the homework from last night. So you can check that. And then I will answer questions once I get back up here. So check your homework right there. You have what? Cute. Who would have ever thought that, like, in our lifetime we would be like picking out cute masks to match our holidays and outfits? Dumb. I already had the corona. I'm good. You're fine. No. Honestly, it was like a horrible headache. Yeah. That was it. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. That's all I had. This is today's. This is what we're going to be working on today that I'm giving you now. All right. Any questions on the first half of that homework from yesterday? Yes, ma'am. Number 7. Okay, that's the one the last class asked about too. And if you look at what I did in green, that's what they identified. Okay, they identified that angle. Well, remember that the angles that are consecutive, the ones that are not opposite, have to be supplementary. So that's why I subtracted 180 minus 136. That's how I got 44. Well, 44 is the entire angle at the bottom. So the 10x minus 8 only represents half of that, and it has been cut in half, so I know that's equal to 22, and then solved it from there. So know that your consecutive angles are supplementary, and people were like, well, how do you know they're consecutive? Anything that's not opposite is consecutive. So like Z and X, those are opposite. W and Y, those are opposite, but these two, Z and W, are consecutive. W and X are consecutive. Y and X are consecutive. All of those have to have a sum of 180. Yes, ma'am. Not if you're in class with me. I won't be able to take that. It's just that. Question is good. All right, I got good with the homework minute. Okay, so today we are. I got one that has location there. And what we try to use is find one trying to decide, do I have a rectangle register? And the first is you check congruent of the sides. So try all sides and then a congruent dice. For options, you're learning and two diagonal. This will opposite are congruent and for the sides of it, the diagonals are congruent, and then the sides are congruent. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. How are we going to check congruency and they do a third? That's right. We're doing this in real. If you don't have it memorized, write it on yours somewhere. X2 minus X1 squared plus Y2 minus Y1 squared. You guys have to memorize it at some point. So what we are going to do, we are going to look at this. We're going to determine whether or not they are which. The biggest question I've gotten all day today when you're working on this is how they use it. Now, just some rectangle, that means this is rectangle. I have to see better. So what you do is start and don't pick up your pen. Okay, go in the order alphabet and don't ramp. So I'm going to go A, down that line to B, down that line to C, down line to D. So I did it up. I can draw this figure A, B, C, D. Does that make sense? Don't do A, pick in C, D. Keep it if it's P, Q, R, do P, Q, R, S. Okay, that way you're not messing it up because we are specifically looking at sides and the dice. It's very important to have the things. Okay. So when we're doing this, we're comparing the distances of the sides. So I'm going to start with AB and compare that to CD. Okay? AB. We need the distance formula of that. So this is not a lesson on distance formula. So I'm not going to go super slow on this. Hopefully you know how to do the distance formula. You start with your x2, which is 8 squared, plus y2 is negative 2 minus negative 4 squared. So what's 8 minus 9? What's negative 1 squared? I need y'all to like pop answers. Okay, I want you guys answering these quickly. It should be very easy. What's negative 2 plus 4? 2 squared is 4. 1 plus 4. Now we can leave it as a square root of 5. Okay, so we don't have to be further into the decimal. We can compare the square roots. Okay, now I'm going to compare that to CD. We're doing the distance. Okay, so CD x3 minus 2 squared plus negative 7 minus negative 5 squared. Just like that. So what's 3 minus 1? What's 3 minus 2? What's 1 squared? Perfect. What's negative 7 plus 5? What's 2 squared? What's 1 plus 4? Perfect. So we at least have top and bottom that are the same. So this is at least going to have 2 sides that are the same. Now we need to check the other 2 sides. Okay? So I'm going to compare AD and B. Now, if they're all 5s, that means either case 3 or case 4 are different, then it could be case 1 or 2. So let's look. I'm going to do AD first. So the distance between AD is 3 minus 9 squared plus negative 7 minus negative 4 squared. What's 3 minus 9? Okay, 6 squared, or negative 6 squared is 36. Negative 7 plus 4 is, negative 3 squared is 6 plus 9, 45. Okay, so do we have a square? No, can't be a square, okay, because that was different. Now I'm going to compare it to BC. Make sure BC matches AD. So I have 2 minus 8 squared plus negative 5 minus negative 2 squared. What's 2 minus 8? Negative squared is 30. What's negative 5 plus 2? What's negative 3 squared? 9. So 36 plus is. Okay, so we're good. These two match. So this tells us that it's either going to be a parallelogram or a rectangle. Now, how are we going to decide which one actually is? Good. Now we need to compare the diagonals. So the diagonals are going to be AC and CD. We're doing it the same way. We're still having to use the distance formula. So the distance formula for AC is going to be 2 minus 9 squared plus negative 5 minus negative 4 squared. So 2 minus 9 is negative 7. Negative 7 squared is 49. Negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 is, so together that gives me the square root of 50. Again, I'm stopping. It's fine. The distance between B and D. Okay, so that is going to be negative 10 minus negative, no. That's not where the x is. So, sorry, so it's going to be 3 minus 8 squared, and then negative 7 minus negative 2 squared. Did I do that, Tom? So, 3 minus 8 is, negative 5 squared is 25. Negative 7 plus 5, negative 7 plus 2 is, negative 5 squared is 25. 25 plus 25 is 50. So, the diagonals are congruent. So, does that make this? This is a rectangle. Now, is it hard? No. Does it take time? Yes. Who wants to do 4 more? Not Miss Cole. So we're just going to discuss the key. You do not have to write this. I just want you to pay attention. Okay? So if you look at this first one, we've got 4 sides, Q, R, S, T. They are all the square root of 13, which means it's either going to be a square or a rhombus, right? Then we compare the diagonals. The diagonals are different. Same sides, different diagonals, going to be a rhombus. Okay? Over here, 18, 18, 73, 73, which means not a square, not a rhombus, it's got to be a rectangle or parallelogram. You do the diagonals. They are different. Question about this? No, it's pretty straightforward as long as you've got the distance formula. It's just a matter of figuring it out, taking time figuring the distances. Yes, sir. The slope formula will tell you that they're parallel, but it doesn't necessarily tell you that they're going to be congruent. So you have parallel lines, they'll not be congruent. I guess you wouldn't have 2 parallel lines, though. Maybe. Okay, let's look at 4 and 5. On back, if we do the sides, they're all 26. So everything's the same. So that's going to be a square or a rhombus. Then we look at the diagonals. They're also the same. So that makes it a square. Then for number 5, 13, 13, 73. So that means it has to be a parallelogram or a rectangle. And then the diagonals are different. So it's a parallelogram. Any questions on how to decide it's what? Cool. All right. So now let's go back to the back page. And you've got this little section. Okay, so this is still dealing with ordered pairs and identifying, know about the specific shape. It's telling you what shape it is, and then you have to identify, what's going on. So if I look at number 1, it says on parallelogram. So parallelogram, PQ is below. P is located at -1, 6, and S is located at -7, -3. What is the slope of QR? Now, what's the relationship between PS and QR? They're parallel. Therefore, their slopes will be the same. So what we need to find using these 2 pairs? We need to find the slope. So 6 minus -3. Y is on top. X is on the bottom. -1 minus -7. You're defining the slope using the slope formula, which if you don't know, y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. I pray that all of you know that formula. Oh my goodness. So what's 6 plus 3? What's -1 plus 10? Can we simplify that? 2 over 2. So the slope of PS is 3 over 2. So what's the slope of QR? The same thing. They are parallel, so it's going to be the same. Number 2, on the rectangle. So we're dealing with a rectangle. If A is located at 3, 4, and B is located at 7, 6. Okay, what is the slope of BC? What's the relationship between AB and BC? How do you know that they're perpendicular? And that's it. Okay, this is a 90-degree angle. Because it's a 90 angle, that is perpendicular. So we identify the slope. So minus 4, minus 3, 2 over 4, which simplifies to 1/2. So the slope of AB is 1/2. So what's the slope of BC? Opposite reciprocal, so it does have to be negative. That one's positive, this one's negative, and then you do the reciprocal, which is 2 over 1, which is just 2. So that's our answer. Questions? right? Number 3 on the rhombus. This is a rhombus. If W is located at -5, -2, and Y is located at 3, -2, what is the slope of X? What's the relationship between the diagonals of a rhombus? Good. They are perpendicular. These are all little right triangles in the middle. So I'm going to find the slope. So I'm going to -2 minus -2 and 3 minus -5. So 0 over 8. So what's the slope of WY? Okay, it is 0. So what's the slope of XZ? Undefined. It's a vertical line. No, they can't trick you that right. Like it's against the rules to draw things like odd and it be the other answer. Like if it looks like it's vertical, then it's vertical. AT is not allowed to trick you. That's against the rules. So they can't draw it on a scale to make you be like, oh no, don't. They can't do that. Okay, number 4. That's totally random. Number 4 on square JK if J is located at -2, 5. And K is located at 2, 2. What is the slope of LK? What's the relationship between JK and LK? Good. Again, they're perpendicular, so I need to identify the slope. So 2 minus 5, 2 minus -2, so that's going to be, what, -3 over 4, right? JK is -3 over 4. What's KL? Positive 4 over 3 because it's perpendicular. All right, number 5. Number 5, parallelogram STUV below. If S is located at -4, 1 and T is located at 5, 3, what is the length of VU? What's the relationship between VU and ST? They're parallel and they are congruent. So let me find the length of something. Gotta use this one. Yay! Distance formula. Everyone's super excited. -4 minus 5 squared plus 1 minus 3 squared. -4 minus 5 is -9. -9 squared is 81. 1 minus 3 is -2. -2 squared is 4. So we're dealing with the square root of 85. Now, this is a length, so I'm going to go ahead and get the square root of that so we can get an approximate length. So our approximate length is going to be 9.2. Now, that's the distance between ST. Is the distance between ST the same? So VU equals 9.2. Y'all are quiet. Y'all getting it? Is it easy? Are you just like... Yes, I'm talking about. On square, PRS below. Q is at 7, 0. And R is located at 5, -8. Okay? What is length of SR? What's the relationship between QR and SR on a square? They are perpendicular, but we're talking about the length. They're the same. It's square. So we need to find the length. Again, to find the length, do the distance formula. 7 minus 5 squared plus 0 minus -8 squared. I'm not really waiting on y'all. Like, I feel like you can do the distance formula. You don't need to be writing, though. Everybody's taking notes. 7 minus 5 is 2 squared is 4. 0 plus is 64. Plus 64 is, so again, not perfect. So let's plug it in and get us an approximate length. So the approximate is -7 -1 for this. We want to know is G. What's the our group? This is G minus 4 squared -1 minus -8 squared. I guess is to give us 74. We need the square root of 74. That gives us 0.6. Now that is DF. What's the relationship again? They're congruent. It's different. These all four corners are all four edges, vertices. What are the coordinates of point E in the middle? How you get this? I wish I had a formula that would help us get to the middle of a segment. Boom! The midpoint formula. X plus X divided by 2, comma, Y plus Y divided by 2. So, does that matter which one we use? No. Who do you want to use, AC or DB? D is louder, so we're in that one. So we've got, what? It's not going to matter. Just point at negative 2 plus 8 divided by 2. And the Y's are negative 9 plus 5 divided by 2. What is 8? What's negative 2 plus 8? 6 divided by 2? 3. And then we have negative 9 plus 5. Negative 4 divided by 2. Negative 2. So E is located at 3, negative 2, using the midpoint formula. Now, don't get too excited. You have homework. But, because I'm not just completely the Grinch, you only have to do one of them. I mean, it's not like, it still don't take a second, but like, not very long. Fifth hour, you guys do number 3. That's fifth hour. Virtual learners. Virtual learners, you are doing number 2. Virtual learners are doing number 2. Fifth hour is number 3. And then if you do this, which you will, start on your homework for tomorrow for Friday. So tomorrow you can chill. Don't forget to submit it. Don't forget to submit your homework today and Friday's assignment. My virtual learners, you are doing number 2 for homework. So this homework assignment here, 2. But virtual learners, you have to submit note and the homework problem. Okay, bye. And now it's like this awkward thing where I can't close it, so it's